Hello, good afternoon. This is Split Screen Show, episode number
0.2.
0.2
We're still in beta.
for February 22nd, 2016. My name is David, aka Synthetic, and I've got here with me the Mole and the other guy, Jordan.
I'm Jordan. I go by Anderson.
How do you spell that?
Andercin.
Mm-hmm.
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. Yeah, you can find him on Hearthstone, that card game.
You'll find me on anything that I'm playing.
Rocket League.
Right, yeah, Rocket League.
Or Kerbal Space Program. That's my latest. Anything with rockets in it. Rocket cars, rocket Kerbals.
Rocket Train Simulator.
Rocket Train Simulator. That has to be made now. That has to be made.
No, that's after Werewolf Truck Simulator.
Sounds like it's a
Werewolf Truck Simulator.
Werewolf Truck
Yes.
Simulator must come first.
I hope somebody picks that game up. I hope that becomes a real thing because that was easily one of the most unique game designs I've ever heard of.
That sounded too much fun.
It did.
But then the the Fallout with More America.
Yes.
I forget what the name of it was, but now I'll put it on.
It was like a Meritude or something like that. A Meritude.
Yeah, a Meritude written on
Part 2.
whatever.
No, part II or something like that.
Yeah, because it's American.
Oh my God.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So, in the week that we've been gone, what have you guys been up to?
I've been working.
Deadpool.
I have yet to see that. Everybody keeps saying it's a great movie. I'm probably going to see it sometime this week.
It's a terrible Marvel movie, but a great movie. It doesn't work in like the Marvel universe, like the Avengers, things like that. But other than that, the movie is amazing.
Now, isn't it supposed to? I'm not familiar with the background, but wasn't he like sort of part or did things with the Avengers?
He is part of Marvel, but in reality, he breaks the fourth wall in every possible way he can. So he just like whatever he does doesn't actually fit into a storyline.
Okay. And
that the movie kind of plays the same way.
Well, is Deadpool owned by Fox at the moment?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's who made this movie.
So Disney isn't making it, so it's Fox instead. So I think they...
That's how they got away with the rated R.
Exactly.
I also believe they were able to use the word mutant, which I don't think any other Marvel movie
And there are 2 X-Men in there, but they are X-Men that don't show up anywhere else.
Wait, so...
Just in the comics.
Is because Fox has X-Men, nobody else is allowed to use mutant?
They're allowed to share. And by share, like even Spider-Man was owned by Sony.
Right.
And now they share with the Avengers, and so basically they get a huge pay cut.
No, but one of the things that I was talking about that David brought up is the word mutant is trademarked for Marvel movies to Fox. So even Sony and Disney can't use the word mutant in any of their productions. Obviously, any other company can use the word mutant as long as it's not like
in a superhero.
I mean, if you watch the Avengers
sense.
now, you can kind of tell that they kind of omit all of anything X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Avengers 2 had a few of the mutants in it, but they just kind of fit into the plot in their own kind of way anyway with Scarlet Witch, and I forget. Was it Quicksilver? I don't remember who's in the second Avengers.
Yeah, I want to say it's Quicksilver.
It was Scarlet Witch, and it might have been Quicksilver was the second one.
Never seen
Yeah,
it.
that really fast guy or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so that was, Quicksilver. So so those are the only 2 mutants that they were able to get a hold of for those movies because they didn't show up in the X-Men already.
And I believe if you watch I would assume, from what I've heard, if you go back and watch them, they're not called mutants. They're called like specials or something like that.
Yeah,
instead.
something weird, which probably showed up in what's their TV series?
Shield.
Shield. I think that that word probably shows up a couple times in Shield.
I haven't seen any of this, and for some reason, I know way too much about it.
They're not bad movies. I'm a huge fan of Captain America. So
the last Captain America movie was actually very, very good.
Yeah, Winter Soldier was my favorite.
Have you seen that one?
I have not, actually. I haven't seen anything past the first one. There's only 2 out, right?
There's 2 Captain America, 3 Iron Man.
Right.
1.
There's a Captain America coming out this year, right? Or is that next year?
No, it'll be Civil War.
Civil War is basically a Captain America line from what
Okay, I thought it was a Captain America movie with everybody else, but it's actually just technically...
Well, you know how the first Avengers movie was basically an Iron Man movie?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that.
It's going to be the opposite.
Okay.
And hopefully, the rumor is Spider-Man will be in there, because Spider-Man has a lot to do with the Civil War comics.
I believe it's been confirmed. I believe that...
They actually got the rights to
Disney has licensed...
To use him.
Paid a lot of money to Sony in order to get him into this
Spider-Man.
movie.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters in Civil War because he basically causes the feud. Because he's one of the, like, I don't know if you've ever actually looked into Civil War. Basically,
no.
they enlist in law that says they can't wear their mask and they have to give their identities. So Spider-Man's one of the first ones like, oh, I'm gung-ho about this. Well, obviously the villains don't. So he gives them their name, and they're like, "Oh, you're Peter Parker. We know you're." I think at this point in the comics, he's married to Mary Jane. They're like, "Oh, well, we know who you love." So they go after her, and I believe they instantly kill her.
Spoilers, man. Dear God.
I don't think that
Spoilers.
happened. That was in the comic.
The comic book's been out.
The
for
movies
years.
always follow the comics one for one.
Yeah,
Always.
about that.
So now, is Deadpool a movie that you would take kids to? Because I actually have coworkers.
No.
I've got a coworker that actually brought his kids to the movies, but he's one of those parents where he's like, well, they've been exposed to that kind of stuff before. I'm like,
Have they been exposed to full frontal male
half the
flapping?
movie is hookers and booze.
apparently he was okay with that.
Yeah, half the movie is hookers and booze. So.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I know a lot of people probably brought their kids. They're like, it's just a Deadpool movie, superhero, how back at the beat. I think he knew that it was going to be all that stuff in it, and he was still okay with it. But I think a lot of parents probably still thought, it's just going to be for the violence. They can handle that. And then you find out there's just like, bleh.
It's rated R
There's
for a
not just
reason.
there's also blue.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, from what I've heard. Because I was making a joke with one of my Dork Night guys. I was like, yeah, this is a Marvel movie that hangs dong. He's like, yeah, it is. I was like, what?
Oh, God. Yeah, so yesterday me and Alex hung out for a little bit.
Went to a game cafe. First time I've ever been to one.
Yeah, it's right up the street from me in Stowe. The Malted Meeple is what it's called. Heard about it before. I got another coworker who's actually been there before, thought highly of it. But it's basically just a board game bar like we were talking about at PAX. It's like, you go there and they have all sorts of card games and tabletop games, stuff like that. And then they also have alcohol and milkshakes and little snacks and stuff like that.
He told me about the milkshakes, and that surprised me.
It surprised me too.
They were really, really good milkshakes.
It was amazing. Yeah, they had a flight of milkshakes. So I guess every month they have a milkshake of the month, and how they determine which one's milkshake of the month is the month prior they sell this flight of 3 milkshakes. Mm-hmm. And what you do is you try the milkshakes and then you vote for which one you like, and whichever one you like, it becomes whichever one's popular becomes milkshake of the month. And the 3 that they had was milk chocolate, a dark chocolate raspberry, and a milk chocolate orange.
Are we streaming?
I'm a big fan of like the orange.
We are streaming.
Are you sure? I'm not. I don't have us.
That might be you
popping up here. I would double check really quickly.
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Well, we're still recording, so we got that going for us.
Yeah. So, yeah, just a quick check to see if we're still streaming. But yeah, I had the dark chocolate raspberry.
Yeah.
I had a full one. David got the Tasters Trio or whatever.
See,
it was.
I would try the orange. I'm not a huge fan of raspberry.
It wasn't strong though. It wasn't a lot of overpowering. Yeah, you're right. We're not streaming.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. All right, we'll keep vamping then. But
We're still recording.
We can still put this up. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, delicious milkshakes. They don't sell booze on Sundays, which isn't a bad thing, I guess, because there was kids in there and stuff like that.
Okay, I know like 16-bit stuff like that. Even on Sundays, it's like from like noon to 4. You can bring your kids in and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because something about the liquor licenses and having kids in there.
It's actually in a really neat venue as well. I don't know what it is, but it's this like octagonal shaped building off the road near their, what is it, a baseball field and a soccer field?
It's like a baseball field in a little park.
It like reminds me of like an old ranger station, possibly, based on the look of it.
I have to see it. Okay.
I wonder if we're capturing video. Can we pull up the Google Maps picture?
Yeah, we can actually.
That's a possibility of things, but it was lots of fun. The people in there are super nice, and we happened to get there at a day where a guy who was demoing his game was paying the table fee for everyone there. It's $5. It's play all day. Mm-hmm. You basically rent a table. It's $5 a person. They have 150-ish board games available.
Yeah, different board games, card games.
David and I chose Pixel Tactics to give it a shot.
Yeah, I saw the picture because that's the one David was talking about when we got back from PAX.
Yeah. Not sure.
No, I was talking about Pixel Glory.
Pixel Glory. Okay.
Yeah, this is different.
Okay, I thought that was the same game. Okay. I still have to look that up then.
Yeah, Pixel Tactics was a really fun game. You had like two decks, so each player had a deck of like 30 or 40 cards, and you were just building basically like a little military unit and killing each other in front of them. The downside was what we immediately found out was the rules are printed on the back of the the play mat. So it's very difficult to reference the rules and go back and forth. Luckily, David found a PDF online, which helped a lot.
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of
table
sense.
flip.
Yeah.
It's just
the tables they had there
It
were
was
actually
nice.
really nice.
it's pretty ingenious.
I really wish I had access to one. I might even try to make one myself. There it is. It's off the road there a bit. There we go.
Okay, I see it.
And it's this really weird like octagonal building. It's got a very old, not what's the right word for it? Like very tavern-esque vibe in the inside there.
Yeah,
cool.
they didn't modernize it or anything like that. It's got a lot of the wood, probably original wood for the building, and it's got that smell like a sort of old, London tavern, I guess, even though I've never been to London
neither
or a
have I.
tavern, but it's what I would assume it would smell like.
I got the pictures of the milkshakes down there.
Yeah,
as well,
there
it
we
looks
go.
like.
Look at that. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's the flight. That's what the flight
What
comes
the
on.
heck is it? I got one of the.
That's some kind of green one. Wow.
It's probably lime or
Oh, this is in March, so this is probably in time for St. Patrick's Day, because remember they said next month they were going to do green ones with bananas, so maybe that's what this is.
Yeah, but I don't know what that thing is behind it. That looks massive.
That's
and I want
insane.
it.
Didn't we see didn't they have some kind of sharing thing? Like a mega milkshake, that's what they called it.
Maybe. I don't
now
know.
do they make their milkshakes alcoholic?
They do.
They can.
Okay.
Not
but
on
again,
Sundays.
not on Sundays.
No, I know that. I'm just like,
But they do give you the option of adding alcohol to it like they do at Flipside.
that's kind of
so.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of people in there. It's a little smaller than you would, I guess, think it is.
Although it did have different rooms, I was noticing.
Oh,
so
did it?
it probably has like areas for you to have events going on while the free play stuff goes on.
I bet you that's
so there
where-
were extra stuff off to the side and things like that.
Yeah, I bet you that's where the role players go.
Oh,
so
add
they're
beer, add bourbon, add rum, okay.
Yeah, so you can add all kinds of stuff. It actually looked like they had a fairly good alcohol menu here too. A lot of your standard beers, but then they also had some.
They had a lot of
wines
craft
and
beers there as well, as
Yeah.
you can see the fat heads and
specialty sodas. I never heard of Saranac before.
No, that's the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah, so I think I want to go back and try it.
Saranac. Nope, never heard of it.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's better than Jones.
Jones is not bad.
Depends on which Jones you get.
Yeah,
The only Jones I seem to like is the Jones root beer, and even then, it's not as good as I think it is. I knocked the mic stand. My bad.
that's fine.
Don't touch it.
But now I want to go back there just by looking at those milkshakes. Now I really want a strawberry milkshake from there. They're open until 2 o'clock
On Friday and Saturday.
On Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, they're only open until 8 on Sundays.
It looks like they're open to 11 tonight.
No, we're not going.
We pick up all the podcast equipment and go.
yeah, let's just have a podcast there. That's actually something we can look into later. But
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but
No, it's definitely a ton of
you
work.
wouldn't be able to stream it there easily.
no, that's definitely a recording venue. Like,
But it was really fun, really cool place. Pixel Tactics took us a little longer than it probably should have because we were learning it.
but I actually enjoyed it. It was a fun game. It had a nice little depth to it. The way they had all the columns set up and the ranged and melee attacks. It's pretty unique. I enjoyed it.
David annihilated me, obliterated me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. The funny part is, we didn't realize early on that you can't recycle the discard pile. I was under the impression that you could. So one of the tactics there is each card is a hero, and each hero has 4 different abilities. And to make a long story short, the 4th ability is one where it's like this overpowered special tactic, right? And and so what you do is you use the ability and then you discard the card, and you
Okay.
can't play that hero anymore because you can't recycle that hero's now out of the game. Period. So what I was doing was using a ton of those special abilities, and it was just absolutely obliterating Alex.
Yeah.
And we get near the end of the game, and I only have about 5 cards left in my draw pile because each person has their own separate draw pile. And I realized, can we recycle this? So we went and looked at the rules and found out, no, you can't.
Nope.
So you were.
So had I known that, I may have played more conservatively, but playing aggressively actually allowed me to,
So what
to win
happens?
the
So as
game.
soon as you're out of cards, you're done.
No, you still.
No, you still have people on the field.
You just you have no people to replenish your ranks basically. All the people in you have this like 3x3 grid of people that you end up building, and people get killed and knocked off, and they turn into corpses, which just take up spaces in
Yeah.
So you can only have so many out.
Yeah, and then you have to spend actions to remove them and whatnot. But what happens is when you run out of cards, you run out of people to replenish that deck. So if you're using all those powers, those order abilities, I think they were called.
Yeah, order abilities.
Then you're using those people instead of playing them in rank.
Now, is that German special edition? It looks like a Game Boy.
What?
Is it the first one on that line?
German first edition.
Do you see the?
Yeah, it's got the
Russian.
It's the Game Boy. Actually, they all look like Game. Well, it's first and the third one look like Game Boy.
Yeah, it looked like an NES cartridge.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is
so
one
that's
that
the
we had.
box.
I
Yeah.
like when that's one of my favorite.
So let's see. Is there a thing of the game mats?
Yeah, if you, I bet you if you click to the right there, you'll probably find hopefully it.
Maybe. Is
Uh,
it like a special? Okay. I
Vamping.
think- No, that's actually a card.
That's an actual card that looks like that's
From a different
possibly in
edition.
Polish. It is in Polish. Haha. So
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a European version.
So maybe the
they didn't play with the mat.
huh. They didn't play with the mat. Yeah, I don't know seeing the mat anywhere.
yeah, you can. The people say once you get better at it, you can play without a mat, which
Right.
obviously you can do if you just remember that it's a 3x3 grid, and depending on where things are placed is where those you have special abilities based on where each person is placed. So if you have them higher up, they usually have like better attack powers, and at the rear you'll probably have more like dispersion powers. Or David had a mystic there that just had this like really over.
So remember, I was telling you. So you see the purple line on here. That's the order abilities. That's the one where you can use it and then discard. But not if they're on the mat. If they're on the mat, you can't use the purple. So I had a mystic ability back here, and what that allowed me to do was, as part of my one action, because you have 2 actions per wave, as one of my actions, I can draw a card or use one in my hand, use that ability, and place it down without that being an extra action. So normally that would have to be 2 actions, but here with the mystic, it was only 1. So I kept doing that. And those order actions are ridiculously overpowered.
Yep.
Like ridiculously.
And do they use those special little plastic pieces that are found everywhere?
No, they actually
Ours had the little
ours had cardboard chits.
cardboards, yeah.
Okay.
This is probably a little bit upgraded with those gems.
Yeah.
Those the black and red gems. Ours came in like I guess you would call it almost like an Uno style box. So it was.
There's a single box. Okay.
It's a single box, but it's meant for like a split deck,
Mhm.
and you can fit your cardboard chits and the mat and everything in there. So it's very compact. I would suspect that if you go on Amazon and Google the price, it's probably a $15 to $20 game.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't seem like it would be that much.
So-
Just basically a bunch of cards.
Bang, it's bang for buck was actually a really good kind of in-depth game. It's probably better shorter once you get a hang of it. It took just a little too long for us to get through one.
No, now what I'm seeing is there's a red deck and a blue deck. So do they have the same cards or are they different?
Yes, they have the exact same cards.
Okay.
So
I was just wondering, like, there's a red side and a blue side.
nope, they
Yeah,
have
it's
the
just so
exact
that
same
you
cards.
know which deck it's for.
Yeah, and you'll end up you don't see.
Oh, and so the other reason why I was winning that too is so in the middle you have a leader. So every card has a hero side and a leader side. And at the beginning of the game, you set down a leader in the middle. The leader usually has a better ability or better attack power, things like that. Things that either help keep your guys healed or help attack stronger. And when I put down a leader, we both kind of noticed that I had 0 attack power on my card.
Okay.
Alex thought right away something must be overpowered with that leader.
It had the same basically health as my leader did, but it had a 0 attack. My leader had a 4 attack, which was pretty standard for what it looked like of just normal everyday cards. And I was just looking at it, I was just like, whatever ability that thing has, it's gotta be worth that 0. And boy, was it.
So essentially,
What did he do?
you play the game in waves. So, for instance, let's say I'm blue and Alex is this other side. So we take turns.
Red, they call it.
Red, yeah. So I attack first, and there's a little card that actually shows you. I think that you could play without it here because everybody's keeping track of it. But there's a little card that says, okay, David attacks first. So I go through here, I do whatever actions I need to do. And then Alex goes through and does his actions. And we do these in each row of the red, green, and blue, right?
Okay, so like front, middle. back.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So at the end of the wave, after I do something and after Alex does something, my leader, what he does is any damage on these guys in this wave, I take 2 of them off at the end of the wave.
Okay.
Every time.
So he was healing so much damage.
He couldn't kill my
of-
guys. I think he only killed like 2, maybe 3 of them.
I only killed a handful of them.
And then I had a couple cards that actually allowed me to resurrect those guys. And so that kept them back. Because when you kill them, they're not off the battlefield. They take up a slot, but they're turned upside down.
They're a little corpse.
Yeah, they're a corpse. So what you can do is there's one ability, was it the Witch?
I don't remember.
I think it was...
Sounds about right.
Yeah, where it can do more damage based on how many corpses are on the field.
Oh, so it's
Yes.
like a necromancer kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Or you can also get a special ability where you can flip them back over and put them back into play.
Okay,
with
that's
more
kind of
damage.
cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. It's only 2 players though, right?
Yes,
Yes, it's only
a
2 player.
game.
Yeah. It says about a 30-minute game, and if we knew the rules, I would say it might take that time.
Yeah, it's probably a 30-minute game once you know all the rules and once you're confident in how everything works and how all the little nuances are, because we got confused a little bit on the interceptability that people have.
So there's a little bit of like intermediate rules in between. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like all these little special abilities that you get do different things. And so it's not as bad as Race for the Galaxy
I love the game.
specialized, but it's still pretty specialized.
Amanda was still very overwhelmed with that game, so.
Yeah, there's still a lot of symbology in this game. Not as much as Race for the Galaxy, which one of these days we'll have to get David to play that, and you'll see the amount of
I
symbology.
will explain. I think usually I don't think Alex usually has me explain it, and then you look like you're about on the verge of I don't know what you just said. Why did you read me a novel?
Yeah.
And then we play, and you're like, that's it. Yes.
You read all that for that.
Yeah, you take 30 minutes to say like this little symbol means this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then once you play and you draw a card, you're like, oh, and it like kind of all clicks almost immediately.
It took us like 3 games, I think, when I first got it to figure out what the phases actually did, because we're like, do we go by like one phase at a time, or do we like put them all together? And I don't think we could figure it out at first.
Yeah.
Because there's some ambiguity in the rules, but once you figure it out, you're like, oh, this game's easy.
Yeah, I think one of the first times we played, we ended up double upping on phases that
Yeah.
people played multiple times, which was wrong. So,
Yeah, so mobile gaming. Do you guys play anything on the go? I know you both have DSs. You guys play anything outside of that with the phones or
I only play one game on my phone. Other than I used to play crap ton of solitaire because that came on almost every dumb
Oh, come on.
dumb phone on the planet.
What's that new cat game that everyone's Atsumi Neko?
I don't know.
Your brother
everyone,
was-
when you say everyone,
I'm not kidding you. Let me find the name of it.
I do play a mobile game of a board game.
oh, yeah, you were talking about that.
That's you can't see that because
No,
it's
you
all
can't.
washed out. But
Neko Atsume. Yeah, Neko Atsume is like one of the new Japanese crazes, and it's starting to spread in America. You literally just have your humble abode, like your house, and you leave cat treats and food and toys, and then you come back like randomly throughout the day. You click the app, you open it up, and there might be a cat there waiting for you. You can take pictures with him. That is literally the appeal of the game.
That is the dumbest.
that doesn't sound like a game.
It's still considered a game. What are you going to call it? A cat simulator?
Yes,
Yes.
because that's what it is. Cat hoarding simulator or
cat
something.
simulator.
So is there like a special type of cat you're trying to achieve?
There's like
or-
special edition ones, and all the cats have a pun named to them.
Okay.
I just can't remember them off the top of my head because I don't play it.
So do you get points for more cats or
He says he
special
doesn't
cats?
play it.
Right. Yeah.
you get when they come visit you, they give you fish points, I call it, and you can buy more treats and cats. And so I guess the ultimate goal is to be the best cat hoarder in all the land. So you can take pictures with all of them.
So microtransaction wise, how much money does it cost me for
Nothing.
fish points?
I actually think you can spend for fish points. There's no point in spending fish points.
There's no point in spending a lot of
For any
microtransactions.
Yeah, I know. I've seen people play it, and like you don't need to. Spend
I've
any
never had the urge to pay for any of that. Well, no, I lied. I did.
Ooh, what did you pay for?
I think it was the SimCity Facebook game.
Oh, when that first came out?
Yeah, I remember
Boy,
everybody
what a-
there. Talk about everybody playing something. That was a game everybody played.
That hit and then it died like in a week.
It crashed hard, yeah. But I did actually put money into that because I enjoyed the SimCity series, and knowing that this was a money grab, I got into it, started playing. I was like, you know what, I'm enjoying this. Let me send a little money their way. So I did buy some seeds or coins or whatever it was that you bought in that game.
Coins,
I think it was coins so that you
trying
can
to think
plant
of any other
crops.
mobile games. The only other ones, because I have an iPod Touch as well, and we do have an iPad at home. It's a series that I absolutely love, and it started off on the Apple Store. It's called The Room, and there's 3 of them.
Oh, is that the one where you were showing me where you like tip your phone and you like do all the
No,
weird things?
that's a different one. That one
Okay.
calls, I can't remember the name of it. I'll figure out the name of that another day. But yeah, this one's called The Room. There's 3 of them, and it's literally just like every room is a puzzle box room. But like it has a very strange, I guess, very Arkham Horror kind of storyline to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're basically sucked into a void world where it takes every like room it can find and turn it into a puzzle.
How Lovecraftian.
Yes, it's very cool. It's one of my favorite games. The atmosphere is great. Wear headphones. It's creepy. I love it. There's one where it's like you're in a pirate ship, and there's a model pirate ship, and everything you do to the model pirate ship changes the actual pirate ship. And it has that very like everything's cogs and gears and stuff. And you're like, this is
So you're,
kind
like,
of
flipping
cool.
stuff around.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a very neat game, and there's 3 of them. I have the 3rd one. I haven't beaten the 3rd one yet.
So, how much money do you spend on your mobile games?
Usually under 10.
Under
And
10?
do you, when you spend money, are you the type of person where you go outright and just buy like a good quality game, or will you do the free games and then buy whatever microtransactions
I
they have?
usually buy the quality game. I
Okay.
do not buy the ones that usually have the in-game transactions. Because
Yeah.
I feel those games will just go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And they build it that way, yeah.
yeah,
Because you're spending more in the long
Because
run.
I remember playing Plants vs. Zombies, and I loved that game. The first one, I'm like, oh, this game's amazing. I didn't spend any money in it. I could play whatever I want. You unlock all the different plants and stuff as you go. And the variety was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then Plants vs. Zombies 2 came out. And there was no actual in-game option to unlock plants without paying actual money.
Really? So they didn't give you a way to like grind it? Because
No.
sometimes what they'll do is paying for something will be a shortcut, but there is a way to still grind
No,
it in
like
game.
if you wanted
just
plans
taking
from like
time.
the first game, you had to pay legit money. And like to buy bundles, you'd be paying like $15, $16 at a time.
Oof.
And I'm like, I'm not paying real money to like stuff. I'm like, I'll just go play the first one.
Yeah, that's too much money to be
It was
laying down for.
it was very ridiculous what they did with that one. So I will not give them credit.
So overall, David, how much money would you say you've spent on mobile games?
Not a lot, actually. I don't do a lot of mobile gaming. I don't have a DS. I don't really play a lot on the phones. Well, I just got a Nexus 5X, so because that's more powerful than my last one, I might consider it.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't really spent a lot on mobile gaming. I'm the type of person who I'll buy a quality game and not do the microtransactions. And I think the only game that I've actually really bought was Minecraft.
Oh,
Pocket
on the
Edition.
mobile. I've never...
I never got the mobile edition of that one because I already have.
It's actually not bad. It's a good way to pass some time. It's
I
not
can
as fully
imagine.
featured, of course, because it's not a PC or Xbox or anything like that. But for a mobile game, it's actually pretty good. It's got a lot of the stuff in it. I think they added sandstone or redstone in there recently, so
Okay.
you can start doing like all kinds of the fun magical stuff.
Hey, did you know Hearthstone is also on mobile?
How much money did you spend on that?
I'm not telling anyone that number.
Because he
It's
doesn't
on
know
PC.
it.
It's way better on PC, but mobile is a good time waster.
Yeah.
So.
Jordan's wallet's going, help me, help me.
There's a new expansion coming out. We're not saying anything.
Yeah, I've probably spent $15 on mobile games, and that's across 3 different mobile games.
That's why we won't consider Hearthstone a mobile game.
I've bought the Star Realms mobile game. It's free to play normally, but if you buy it, you can unlock all the different difficulty levels and stuff like that.
See, I like that because you're just getting it all at once.
Yeah.
Rather than
Yeah.
having to-
Also, it's like really, really good on the phone.
I did that with Ascension. It was fun, but I thought the card game, like I actually liked the real card game a little bit better
Yeah.
with Ascension. I thought it was a little bit more like I think it's more fun in front of people.
Yeah. Star Realms is such a good time waster for me. I was telling David yesterday
Because they actually had the card game there too.
Mm-hmm.
I own like 3 copies of the card game upstairs, and it's only a 2-player game.
Not that bad. Not that bad. But yeah.
I love it so much. I gave the guys extra money. I also bought a special play mat for it. Oh,
He's thinking about it now, like, oh god.
I know we were very.
sounds so
depressed.
horrible when I
were-
say it
We were
back.
super depressed by their epic game.
yeah, their epic game was not good.
No.
No, not for me at least.
I had to explain the rules to Alex, and even I had to read the instruction guide every single card. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It like every card like to use the keyword for like this special ability is basically like charge. So you play it, you can play on the first turn. But we're just gonna call it like quickness or swiftness, and you're like, well,
Ambush? Was it? No.
maybe it was something, and you're like, okay, well
I
here's a
remember.
keyword, and like, but it doesn't give a description. So you're like, Flip the back of the book.
Flip back to the rule book.
Okay, that means you can play on turn 1. There's no summoning signature. Whatever. Okay, cool. Another card. This one says it has, like, let's say, divine something. Oh, what's this mean? Like, every single time, every single card.
So you were always in the book for every single thing.
It was that, and it was also, it felt horribly unbalanced. It just horribly random based on how the game was initially set up. Because I got, like, this super mega worm, and Jordan just had, like, a couple of little zombies, and I just kept crushing him constantly.
I couldn't do anything, because, that's why I think Magic is still considered one of the best card games, is because they've had such a long time to develop it.
They have time to work out all those bugs and balance that. I thought Star Realms was just a great little standalone card game that I didn't have to spend $1 million on in the TCG route. I spent more money than I should have, and still paying money for Pokemon stuff.
No, I'm trying to think of any mobile games. I played Angry Birds. I did not get into Angry Birds at all. Didn't like Candy Crush.
I did have Angry Birds. I did play Angry Birds. Didn't pay for the extra stuff, but that was actually a fun little game in its time.
Didn't like Candy Crush.
Played Candy Crush.
Never played Candy Crush. I played, what was the game that came out in like 2012, 2011? It was the drawing game.
Oh, it was Draw with Friends or something like that?
Yeah, the Pictionary game.
I did play Words with Friends. I actually was a huge fan of Words with
Friends. There was I know what Alex is talking about. It was basically like Pictionary.
It was just Draw with Friends.
Draw with Friends or something like that.
I played a crap ton of that. Didn't spend a dime on that game. That game was
I didn't spend much on that. Actually, no, I didn't spend anything on that. I didn't spend anything on Words with Friends, but I put a lot of time into that one.
Yeah, I bought
a lot of time.
Bought a little racing game as well for my tablet. For my Android tablet called Mini Motors Racing. It was actually really fun. And then I bought a jet ski game for my tablet as well, which was garbage.
That's why I usually wait
really
until
bad
someone reviews a game before I buy
buying
it.
It's like,
that was the last game I ever bought. No, I lied. I bought Star Realms, but I could trust Star Realms.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really stood out for games, but I don't think there's anything I actually bought.
Do games even get to those levels of like Angry Bird and Words with Friends anymore? Because remember, it used to be you couldn't talk to anybody or look at anybody's phone without seeing one of those games. And now do we have those anymore?
There's just so many clones of them.
And I think that kind of killed it, yeah.
Well, I think also they're flash in the pans, so like Flappy Bird will come and go so quickly now.
Right.
And then what's the one that's recently got everybody? Crossy Roads? Maybe Crossy Roads I think is the one that everyone is after, and it's basically like a Frogger simulator.
Okay.
The other one I saw before that was Piano Tiles.
Piano Tiles was there and gone. I
think that about covers it for popular games. I'm sure there's stuff I'm completely missing.
What do you think about if Nintendo tries to dip their toes in this? Or you think they're gonna?
They actually have a mobile game coming out.
Do they really?
April. It's called Me Tomo. So basically, it's like a Me. You know what the Miis are,
right? I know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. It's the Me. It's a Me community on your mobile device.
Okay. So
it's intertwined to your Nintendo account. It's kind of like them, like, hey, look what we can do.
So
they actually bought a mobile company. I don't remember the name of it.
Is it like Second Life or like Mii's?
No, I think it's just a simple social interaction kind of thing with Mii's. So like it's not an actual game, but
I go over your house, I poke your dog, and then leave, and leave you a message. I pooped on your front lawn.
Yeah, no. So yeah, they're slowly trying to get in the mobile market. I mean, I don't really care if Nintendo gets in the mobile market. I just wish I want them to push their consoles a little bit farther.
See, my thing is, Nintendo's good for integrating whatever it is that's special about their hardware into the games, at least for the first party games, And I don't know if they can do that properly with mobile because there's so much fragmentation out there in terms of iPhone, Android, Windows may be getting popular soon. Between the iPhone,
that's why I think they
don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't count them out. But even within, like, okay, now I got the iPhone. You have 4 or 5 different models out there. Android, you have 400 or 500 different models out there. Windows, there's 4 phones out there.
Yeah. Nokia. And they're all owned by people.
So I don't
Engage return.
I don't think it's going to be enough of a return on investment for them to be able to hit all the little.
They said they will keep continuing developing their handheld line. So the mobile is just something they're trying to slightly push themselves into.
Yeah, I think if they can dip their toes into it, I just don't think
that shouldn't be their
heart and soul.
Yeah,
I keep hearing that like the mobile gaming is ruining DS sales and stuff like that. I have my doubts that.
no.
that's
Oh, no,
actually-
not at all.
no.
The new Fire Emblem game just came out, and it's one of the biggest sellers this month. So February's not a big month. But.
Yeah, every time I guess every time I turn my DS back on after it sits off for a while, I just constantly remember that, like, wow, the DS actually looks like this. That is incredible. And I have to go and I play Majora's Mask, and I still haven't beat that game.
I'm your guide. Don't forget.
I don't need a guide. I just need to sit down and apply myself. Hey, look, it says Link. Oh, you guys can't see that.
Like, no, they can't. Segue. HTC Vive. $800.
Hoverboards catching on fire and burning. Everywhere.
Yes.
That's your segue.
No, stop.
No, that is a hoverboard,
Stop.
not a Segway, Alex.
Yeah, and they're not even real hoverboards.
They're not, but they call it hoverboards.
They
Because
should
one
be
person
sued.
called it that. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay, your HTC Vive. I know absolutely nothing about it besides that it's not an Oculus Rift.
I think I was
Fair
telling
point.
David, I don't know much about it either. I want to say it was 1080 and the Oculus isn't, but I could be.
I believe that is correct.
I could be completely wrong.
But I also didn't do my homework before the show.
So we're all here just going nuts. That's all I could see and read.
The interesting thing, though, and correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't really kept on any of the VR products, but I know the Vive, you need basically an entire room. And we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, you have
the Vive, you need an entire room. So those two little black boxes back there, they have to sit somewhere. And I think before when they were showing it off, there was actually 8 of them or something like that. So it's good that they brought it down. But you have to put those up somewhere, calibrate them, and then you have to have enough room to move around because you've got both hands swinging and you may be moving
Now with
left
the
or right,
Oculus,
stuff
you
like
don't
that.
have to do that. It's just an
No,
headset.
but I think this probably adds more accuracy, maybe a little bit more in-depth points for them to track, so that it's a little bit more accurate.
Because I believe the Oculus doesn't ship with. I believe those
Controllers.
Those are little handheld.
Yeah.
To me, honestly, I just want the headset. I don't care about the little motion controls or anything like
But
that.
I feel like once you get into the world of VR, I feel like it's actually better to have a little bit more immersion with the controllers. I think it may be a little off-putting having just being able to see in 360, but not being able to really do much controlling in 360.
Yeah.
Because you're still holding this, even though you're turning around physically. So I can see where they're going with the controllers.
Yeah, I can see. I don't know if what the Oculus ships with, but I think the only real Oculus game I've ever seen anybody play is the Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes
Keep
game.
talking until it explodes.
And it's just you're just playing with a controller and you just have the ability to kind of
Which
look around.
David and I did actually play at PAX. We didn't play the Oculus version though. We
Oh,
just
okay.
played
No, just the
you can get
regular
it on
PC
PC,
version.
Okay.
but you only need one copy per group. But
Mhm.
it's really fun. But you learn that people need to talk.
Yeah, the communication is key in that game. I can't understate that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun though. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, I've wanted to play it with Amanda, but I also don't want to end my marriage. So
Because her especially, she'll get mad at you for not understanding what she's explaining, and the level of detail that you have to explain the little hieroglyphics
There are
what the
12
color wires
pages
there
of
are.
instruction, and they are in black and white. Where the person seeing the bomb, it's all in color.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So I'm
it's a completely
explaining
different
wires in different colors, and they're like,
Do you have this? Do you have this? Is it a box? Yes, it looks like a box. Does the box have this? No, the box doesn't have this. Then you go scroll down 3 more pages.
Yeah.
Does the box have this? Yes, it does. And then it gives you the whole page is covered in text.
yeah.
The entire page is text.
It is, yeah.
And then you're reading instructions. If this happens, do this. If this happens, do this. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then each scenario adds something else to the bomb.
So would you say that an Oculus Rift would enhance to that?
No, when I've
Experience?
seen Let's Players play with the Oculus Rift on this, what's great is that the Oculus Rift keeps you from seeing what the other players were looking at.
Oh, okay.
So the
yeah.
immersion
So
is
what we had to
better.
do was we had to flip my monitor a little bit this way so that they couldn't glance over and look at it. So
Yeah.
with the Rift,
Now that's
nobody's-
a part of the immersion I like, and what the Oculus Rift does as well is you can rotate your head, you can actually physically look around the
Yeah.
bomb and stuff, and
You could probably focus a little bit better
yeah,
on certain
I mean you're
things.
still using a mouse, but it was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, each page is text.
Text. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about with the hieroglyphics, where
All
you
those
get 4
symbols.
of them, and you have to explain. I have to explain because I was the one with the game up, so I was looking at the bomb. I have to explain what I'm seeing here, and then based on that, they have to tell me which one of these.
What order to click it in?
Right, what order to click it in. based on the precedent. So like there's a certain way that they have to read it, and then I have to press it in that order. If you don't, and the interesting thing is, so the way you lose is if I mess up on something, let's say I pressed these in the wrong order, they gave me the wrong order.
You get 3 checks.
You get 3, yeah, there's 2 strikes, and then it explodes on the third one.
Yeah.
So with each strike, the bomb ticks down faster and
Yeah,
faster.
the time goes faster.
So you start with 5 minutes, and it's ticking down normally, and then you mess it up, and now it's going,
Because we told him one thing, he's like, oh, I got it wrong. He's like, the time's going faster, hurry up. I'm like, oh, crap.
I also know there's some modules that change depending on how many times you've gotten things wrong.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But that's later on. We didn't get to that level
Yeah,
of difficulty.
You can pick a level.
Did your bomb explode?
Twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah. We lost. We won.
Oh, hey, that's right. Yeah, we lost the first one, I thought,
One of
and
them-
then did it again and won it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got to the
scenario.
second
Yeah,
one.
we did the second scenario and lost horribly.
And it lost horribly. Yeah, because I think that one we exploded from the 3 strikes and not from the time.
So,
But yeah, so $800. Would you actually get one for that price?
No.
The Vive.
I could build a whole new PC for that.
yeah, at the moment,
I think it's an early adopter stage at this point for that.
it definitely is. It's definitely a early adopter. You know, there's not that many AAA games really
The
coming out.
problem is, there's nothing that really stands out for you to get one. Just so you could, otherwise, you could just say, oh, I got one, but that's really
They
it.
probably have a ton of tech demos that only
Yeah,
last
it
as long as
comes
the
with-
tech demo does.
I can't remember
But-
what it comes with, but it does come with a couple of games, I guess, that probably indies made.
But you know what would be an instant seller? Avatar.
Avatar.
Which one?
The movie.
Not the M. Night Shyamalan one.
No,
The
not
cat
the movie.
people, the blue cat people version one. Have you seen that movie in 3D?
Yes, it was so gorgeous in 3D.
Now imagine that right in your face.
In
I-
your face.
That was 2009?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in 3D because it was like they like revamped all the cinemas by us to basically be able to show it, and the 3D of like the little puffy seed things floating around.
Or like the computer screens that just pop out, and you're like, "Wow, this is really neat." 'Cause,
Oh, that's
like,
right, because it's like
Yeah,
holograms. or
everything,
whatever.
every legit. That was one of the few movies that used all 3D, and that was the first time I think I'd ever seen that.
It was a gorgeous movie.
Yeah.
It was a kind of crappy movie in the end, but it was a gorgeous movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you just watch it for.
Yeah, the story was horrible, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, you don't
It's-
actually watch the movie. You just watch it for the 3D.
Yeah, because I will admit, when I watched the movie, I think the first time I watched it wasn't in theaters. It was at one of my aunts has like basically a home theater in her basement, and so that's the first time I've actually seen it. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Like the surround
gorgeous.
sound, the sound mixing, and everything's good. Technically, it looks great. The CGI was pretty amazing, but it was a crappy story. Didn't care. I was enjoying it.
Do you want to see Pocahontas with blue people?
Yeah,
I got
exactly.
the movie for
Someone
you.
explained it. There's a meme going. There was a meme for it that it was basically a recreation of Aliens, because Sigourney Weaver, Aliens, giant robot at the end, like
Yeah.
a mech
Okay,
fight.
I can
They're
see
like,
that.
They're like, hey, it's aliens.
But the aliens win.
Yeah, but the aliens win. Yeah. No, that was a good one. Like I never thought of that.
Oh yeah, if Sigourney Weaver's in it, you have to have a giant mech.
Yeah.
It just as part of the contract. Must have a giant mech.
Sigourney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quickly, HD remakes. Is this a thing that you think should keep happening? or
Well,
not?
because they're coming out with Twilight Princess, which is Zelda, and I love Zelda, is coming out, I'm thinking April on HD and the Wii U, which I'm like, oh, awesome, GameCube remake, Wii remake, basically.
Mhm.
But it looks so much cleaner, and I don't mind that, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I mean, like, would you go back and replay your old favorite games again?
The problem is, I'm sure David's going to have some similar opinion to this. A lot of those games, you can't make HD for us. I mean, if I go back and try and play GoldenEye HD, there's only so much
Okay,
HD.
I mean, there's only some. I mean, actually, I was surprised. If you play the Banjo-Kazooie games on the Xbox, I think 360 has them, and Xbox One, they have the arcade editions.
Mhm.
They actually upscaled them quite nicely.
Yeah, I think
They don't look terrible. I mean, you know what to expect from an N64 game.
right, but I think I generally agree with what Alex is saying. I feel like there's only a certain point that you can go back and say, "Hey, let's remake this in 3D." You definitely have to start basically from the PS2 generation and move forward from there. N64, I think it has its own little style because of how many polygons you're
Yeah.
restricted to.
I
And I
mean,
think
some-
it's hard to do that over again.
Yeah, no, some of those PlayStation 2 games that are HD remakes are they were way, way, way ahead of their time. And then now that when they HD remade them, like I think Okami, Shadow of the Colossus.
I was about to say Shadow of the Colossus was one I was happy to see remade in
and
HD.
it looks
Oh, it's gotta be
really,
incredible.
really.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It looks really
it's
good.
amazing.
I can imagine that's got to be for a PlayStation 4 or something.
3.
That was 3, yeah.
Three.
So
Yeah,
then
another
it's
for 4.
got to have like the texture here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 had all the remakes. 4 so far hasn't gotten any of those re-releases, which is strange.
Not-
PS4
yeah.
has kind of been lacking on like wanting to release old games.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. So
Yeah, well, that being said, would I buy an HD remake just because it's HD? Probably not. Would I buy an HD remake so I can easily play a game? 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, like if I already have the game on whatever console it is, I'm probably not going to be coerced into buying the new remake on the new generation. But if I don't have it, haven't had the console in a while, whatever, then yeah, I'm probably going to be more inclined to go purchase that game. The problem is not enough of the games that I like are out, and it's not like all the games I don't like weren't popular or aren't popular. It's just that developers make what they want to make.
Yeah.
I mean, you even look at something like how the Xbox One is set up with their backwards compatibility. Right now, they have it set up so that you can actually vote on which games you want to see get backwards compatible from the 360. But even if it's really popular, there's a lot of games on the top of that list that aren't being done because it's up to the developers or the publishers. And I think they basically only do the things that they know they can make a lot of money off of.
I know Capcom's a big culprit of that.
Yeah.
Capcom loves to
remake everything.
Release everything. Resident Evil 4 has been released like 14 times.
Yeah.
You can look that up. But Resident Evil 4 is also a very fun game.
Is that the one with Ashley in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Help, Leon. I guess if you could pick one game to be remade, what would it be?
Ooh, people aren't gonna like my answer, but Road Rash 64.
Okay.
If they remade it for the Wii and gave it the motion controls, that would be the best game on the planet, and hands down. Yeah, you're driving with one hand, you're beating people with the other hand. No doubt about it. Make it local multiplayer. I'm in. I'm buying a Wii.
Wow, it would make them buy a Wii.
It would make me buy a Wii.
Wow.
That's pretty strong.
A Wii.
Yeah, for me, it's a
Or
toss
Wii
up. It's a toss up for Burnout Revenge and SSX Tricky.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen an SSX Tricky for a while.
Yeah, my cousin actually has an original Xbox. I had bought SSX Tricky thinking it was a backwards compatible for the 360, but it wasn't. So I ended up just taking it to his house and leaving it there. But I played that game and it's just so much fun. The new SSX, the one that came out on 360, it's just not quite the same. So I would love to see a new version of that. Burnout Revenge, in my opinion, is the last good Burnout on consoles. You know, barring the handheld versions.
They don't make a lot of snowboarding games anymore,
Not
do
They
they?
No.
really don't, no. Yeah, because those did come out for a while, especially during the Tony Hawk era and stuff.
I
Yeah,
think
there
that
was
was also when the Winter X games were big.
Yeah, that's true.
They were Winter X games. Yeah. Ooh.
They'll still go on, but it's basically you turn on NBC and say, "Oh, hey, the Winter X games are on."
Right, it's not what it was.
No,
when
it's
it first-
not.
It's, okay, HD remake. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I would buy an HD remake.
Unfortunately, if you look at the history of Tony Hawk games that came out after that, they got worse.
They get
Four-
and
four
worse
was
worse
good.
and worse.
I didn't like 3, but I thought 4 was pretty good. That's actually the one I spent the most time on, I would say.
It was probably 2 years ago. I decided I really want to play a Tony Hawk game.
Did you get that HD version? Because they did actually remake that in HD.
Yeah.
No, I went to GameStop and I asked the guy, "Do they make a Tony Hawk game for the PlayStation 3 now?" He's like, "No, not really. They make this game." And I got Skate.
Skate. is
Have you ever
hard,
played
That's
Skate?
not Tony Hawk.
Skate is such a piece of crap.
I think I played
Yeah,
when you had it. Yeah.
it was so unfun. It was like I want to play a Tony Hawk game where I get to grind 8 million yards and then kickflip off some dude's face.
And I want that to be the entire game.
Yeah,
Hashtag realism.
yeah. There's something about that makes it so much more fun.
But speaking of HD remakes, they did do a sort of Tony Hawk remake. I think I bought it. I want to say I bought it, and that's a huge regret. So what they did was they didn't remake any one game in the series. They basically remade everything up to 4, I believe. So they took little elements out of 1, 2, 3, and 4, including maps from 1, 2, 3, and 4, different tricks from different ones, mechanics, things like that. And then they made it into this single game. What I found out was that graphically it looked amazing, but the music really made those games.
Oh,
And
they
because
didn't
of
have
licensing,
yeah.
they still got quite a few of the songs. They got maybe I want to say about half of the songs, but then the other half were newer music, and it kind of took me out of the immersion. It was like, but I recognized all these punk rock songs from the '90s.
You reminded me when what was it? It was GTA 3 and I think San Andreas were on Steam.
Oh yeah,
They patched
yeah.
them to remove all licensed songs from the game, even if you already downloaded it and bought it. And it
Yep.
patched it, so when you download the patch, it just removed all that. I'm like, how does that work? No, that's pretty evil.
Guys, Tony Hawk Pro Skater is available on Steam. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk Pro Skater. They don't have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2
probably 'cause
Or
it's-
4,
or 4.
the ones I would want to play. Okay,
No.
of course.
I want to play 2. I want to play in the cruise ship. I want to take a flip off some girl in a bikini. Vote for Alex.
Alex 2016.
No, my dream HD remake. It came out on the Xbox One, but only in the Rareware collection.
Oh yeah.
Jet Force Gemini.
Oh,
Ooh.
I played that on the N64. I didn't know that they came out with a remake on
It wasn't a remake.
Xbox. Oh, they came out with a.
The Xbox One came out with the Rareware collection. So everything that wasn't backed by Nintendo, which was like Donkey Kong Country, stuff like that.
So that's where Perfect Dark came from as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark, I believe GoldenEye's on there, the Banjo-Kazooie games, any of their Xbox 360 games. That's why I said if I bought an Xbox One, I'd get this game just for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jet Force Gemini was never remade. I mean, if you go back and play it now, it's not as good as it was when you played it as a kid. But the game, like any Rareware game at the time, in like Banjo-Kazooie series, the games are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The games are so much love put in. That's why I supported Ukulele, which is like the future of Rareware games, except Rareware's not Rareware anymore.
Yeah.
So
What are they going by now? What is their?
they're still Rareware, but Platonic is the group that was formed from ex-Rareware.
Yes.
Okay, so from the guys who made those
Yeah.
games we
Yes.
love.
That's why I told Alex, like their Kickstarter was huge because people were like, "You guys did all the stuff I love."
Hmm.
So Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, like including Grant Kirkhope, who did all the music for Banjo-Kazooie. Like that's why I said stuff you won't forget.
Okay.
So everyone's super psyched for that. I think that comes out next year officially.
Yeah.
Or E3 they said is going to be big for them.
Crazy Taxi, that was remade on a
That's-
system, right?
That's Sega. It came out on it was on Dreamcast
Because I know it was
originally.
on, it was Dreamcast originally.
And then this is where Dreamcast gets really strange.
They were an arcade port as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every Dream,
Yeah.
or at least most of the Dreamcast games got ported to another console at some point in their life.
And I know it did. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it's the 360.
There was one on GameCube and PS2. I know that.
I can't remember.
Yeah, there's one on GameCube, PS2. There's one on a more recent generation.
I never thought Crazy Taxi got ported to anything.
Yes,
It was 360. You know why? Because I bought one of those Sega bundles. So it came with like Sonic Adventure or Adventure 2.
Also had the Dreamcast.
And then
stuff
it
on
had the Crazy Taxi, Sega Bass Pro, and some weird Japanese game where it's like a DJ and there's these go-go girls. I don't know
you're
what
talking
it
about
was.
Space Channel 5.
Yeah, I've never heard of that game
It's
on the
really,
Dreamcast.
Space Channel 5 is ridiculously like I'm terrible at it.
I tried it just because it was on the disc, and yeah, I gave up after like
It's
the
a hard,
first
it's
half of
not
the
an
level.
easy game.
So
Yeah, but Dreamcast actually had a lot of games that were way out
I
of its
love
time.
the Dreamcast itself. We'll have to do this on another day because we're starting to run out of time. But the Dreamcast itself was ahead of its time, and it was a really great console with really great games. I really wish it would have thrived in the
And
90s.
Sega is not what they used to be right now.
Oh, they're nowhere close
God,
to it.
I don't even know what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing a Dreamcast being played. My cousin owned one, and I was just like, "This looks beautiful. All the vibrant colors. Why don't they make games with colors like this?" It was so great, and like all I wanted to do was play Crazy Taxi, and I never really got to play it. So whenever I got to play the arcade variant of it,
It might
that was-
even be on Steam. Double check that.
I think it
I
is.
want to say it is.
Yeah.
I want to say it is. Yeah.
It is.
But again, like Tony Hawk, the music sort of made it for me, and of course they couldn't get all the music.
Dude, the sad thing is, like I said, like I'd love to go play Crazy Taxi, but I know it's on Steam. Every time I look at it, it's like,
Do I need it?
is it
No.
worth the $2 or whatever it is? I'm just, I can't pull the trigger to buy it.
That's the
We've
only-
gotten to the
It's
point
sad.
as a culture where $2 for a game makes us think.
Well, going back to mobile games,
Yeah.
you do the same thing.
That's true.
99
If
cents?
it's more than 99 cents,
Ah.
yeah, just
Yeah, no.
If game's not free, not playing it.
Game's $40. Oh, it must be AAA.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Game's 99 cents must be crap.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot of good 99 cent games
No,
out
I'm
there. I
just
think we've
saying,
been
but
conditioned
you're
to it.
There's also a lot of crap 99 cent games.
Which
is
that's your mentality. Is you're like, it's 99 cents. It's probably not good.
It's probably not good. Yeah.
But that also goes into the whole like that's I guess that's self worth. That gets that gets a little bit into the whole marketing.
Yeah. I also have the problem with I keep looking at a game and be like, it's $4. It's kind of a game that I didn't think I would play, but I know as soon as I get rid of my cell phone, it's gonna be gone.
It's gonna be gone, right?
Well, I mean, you'll be able to get it again once you get a cell phone.
Depends if I change change brand. Like I switch.
Oh yeah, okay. If you change brands, yeah.
I'm the Apple user. I have the Apple phone.
Yeah,
So you'll
switch
stick
to
to it.
Android. You can't. Yeah, you can't. Port.
Yeah, I had Android apps, and then I switched to Apple.
And then you
I
can.
lost them, and now if I go the other way, I'll lose my Apple apps, and you have to be brand loyal, and I'm just not brand loyal.
So you kind of flip flop based on what you're feeling at the time of an upgrade.
Yeah, depending on what I wanted. After my HTC phone died, I decided I wanted something with a tremendous battery life. Because Amanda had a Samsung phone. The battery life on that was crap.
Samsung phones are in general crap until you root them and put a custom ROM on there.
Galaxy Edge.
It's the OS. It's not the phone, the
Oh.
hardware itself. It's the OS. It's absolute crap. You have to root it. And I can see why people think, well, if you have to root it, then I don't want it. I'm going to get an Apple and it works off the bat. I understand that. So I'm not saying it's for everyone, but unfortunately, the best way, at least for most of the HTC and Samsung phones out there, you have to root them in order to do anything. I've got the 5X now, so that's a Google stock experience. So there's no bloatware on top of it. It's the phone that Google wants you to be the flagship phone for that generation, and it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, I think that's what I would have to get instead of like a Samsung. But I think my what do you call it? Where you trade your phone to get a new phone? My upgrade is up, and I'm debating whether or not I want to trade a phone for like an Android or something like that. I don't think I am. I think I'm
Just get a new iPhone.
I think I'm going to stay with Apple because the battery life is what sells me on these things. Because I can go 2 days on one charge.
That's nice. Yeah, see, because even this one that I just bought, maybe a day if I'm lucky.
This thing gets me about maybe 29 hours.
Amanda gets about 8.
We have the same phone though, don't we?
Yeah.
Wow. The future.
Probably
of my
depends
phone
on what
to
you
come.
have on
Anyway.
there.
Amanda uses her phone a lot more, I think.
Yeah, she's on it all the time, I'm sure.
But
Okay, 3 minutes left. Choose a new topic. Go.
let's take the topic jar. Pull a topic out of the topic jar. Let me make some noise here.
Nothing.
Ooh.
No, let's not do that one. Why don't you go ahead and pick again?
So, what do you guys think about? I'm stalling. I'm trying to think of something.
And that's all the time we have for our show today.
What are you talking
Visit
about?
us online at splitscreenshow.com.
I still have 2 minutes.
Visit us on Twitter at twitter.com/splitshow. It's a little bit different because everybody took all the other good ones. And you can view us on YouTube at Split Screen Official. Where can we find you guys at on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, blah, blah, blah?
You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch at _M01E. Follow me. I post nothing but random crap on Twitter. You're sure to unfollow me almost immediately. But when I play on
job,
Twitch,
good job.
you'll watch me play Kerbal Space Program or Tomb Raider, whatever I'm in the mood for.
Or Icewind Dale.
Or Icewind Dale with my brothers.
Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter at Anderson, INDERCIN. Or add me on Hearthstone. Just find me, tweet me, and we'll destroy you.
He won't destroy you.
I will win.
He doesn't have an ounce of strength in his body. And I am Synthetic, SYNTH3TK. We need to get some new usernames here because these are not easy to pronounce or spell.
We enter the internet at the age of delete name.
Yeah, that's true. You have to have numbers. The more numbers and weird lack of vowels that you have, the more elite you are.
If your name wasn't Obliterator starting with an O and a 1, then I didn't want to...
I don't have any numbers, but that's because I was also playing MMOs at the time, and it had to be something like overly complicated.
Well, you used to have a screen name with numbers.
It was a 724.
Yeah, so it's still numbers in there.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.